Going on, everyone? Welcome back to Not So Pro Football Talk. It's game day, dude. It's freaking game day. The Niners are playing today. We're playing against the LA Rams. If we win, we are first in the division. We ate out, baby. This is us. It's Niner Nation right here, man. I'm excited. I wish this was a Niner podcast right now because I could go on and hype you guys up. I'm trying to hype myself up because there's a chance where I might be depressed Jay tonight. But a lot has happened this past week, and I cannot wait for tomorrow for fantasy football talk because there's a lot of injuries that went down once again, and there's a lot to talk about. A lot of people to add to the waiver wire. I got a few people that I need to shout out, but I will shout you guys out tomorrow just for using the NSP Fantasy Football services, whether it be listening to the podcast, whether it be asking us questions and DMing us, or whether it be taking in our fantasy football tip sheet, which that is brand new and we're kicking that off. It's like a weekly thing. It's pretty cool. We'll explain more about tomorrow. But today we're going to talk about QBs, more so of Cooper Rush and Dak Prescott. But we're going to get into that a little bit later on. We want to kick this video off with Tua, since that was the first game that happened in Week 4. Tua Tagovailoa, unfortunate news, man. He gets another concussion. Another head injury. That one looked pretty bad. He got snapped to the floor, back of the head. And now some concussion experts are saying that he might have some permanent brain damage.
Ooh.
That's pretty rough. If you don't know about Tua, he got a huge injury in college, and he had to enter the draft that way. He fortunately enough got drafted by the Miami Dolphins. Didn't know what he was going to pan out to be. First year didn't look so hot, and now he's starting to get his groove on with such a solidified team and a great head coach. And unfortunate, injuries are happening to the worst part of your body, which is your head. And now it looks like this might be a career-ending injury. Could be. He is definitely out next week, but there's a lot going on there. Even to the point where talks are saying that everyone in that organization will be sued and fired. What do you guys have to say about this?
When I heard that he was ruled out today, on a Monday for a Sunday game, I was like, either they're being very, very cautious just because of the whole like news media like attacking them for having him start on a short week on a Thursday after getting a potential concussion. We'll have to see what the investigation says. But to be ruled out on a Monday, I am very, very concerned for Tua right now. That's scary. I've never heard of anybody getting ruled out that early for a game for a concussion. I really hope that he's able to come back from this and be the Tua that we've been seeing this year because he's been incredible. But it's very, very scary. And whoever was involved in all this and potentially knew that Tua wasn't okay to play needs to be fired, needs to be fined. It's really, really bad. They've already fired the independent neurologist who did that test with Tua. Test we will have to see. But that, from what my understanding so far, they only fired him because during the investigation he was not being cooperative. So there's no definite answer as far as was he guilty of not doing the full test as to what the NFL and the NFLPA wants him to do. I hope they figure out the truth for all this. I've heard that we'll find out sometime next week their findings. But if there is some type of cover up that there was happening of like, let's push out Tua, there's going to be hell to pay. There's going to be hell to pay.
Yeah, man, I agree. I have some little rules here of why they have those neurological consultants. There is one on each side of the sideline. So each team has their own. So it's not something that the NFL takes care of. These guys are hired by the teams and they help out with the team doctor to make sure that these head injuries are not extreme, to make sure they do all the proper tests and make sure all the precautions are taken. And this guy did not do that. So there's a little quote here. It says, this is by what the NFL protocol says. It says, for the avoidance of doubt, the responsibility for the diagnosis of concussions and the decision to return a player to a game remains exclusively within the professional judgment of the head team physician and the team physician assigned to manageable TBIs, which are traumatic brain injuries. So it's not only this consultant guy who is responsible, it's also the team doctor. So I'm just like Reed said, I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens here, just because right now in my schooling, we're going over TBIs, and it's going to be pretty interesting to find out how the NFL handles this, because TBIs are very, very dangerous. And just like Reed and AJ said, this could be something lifelong for Tua.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully everything turns out. But I mean, they said it before the game started. Tua suffered a concussion that week 3 game, and then 4 days later he's back on the field. Now, if he suffers another concussion, things could be really bad, and that's exactly what happened. Really, no one has any information except for Tua, family, and the club. So we don't have anything to release just yet. But as soon as we hear something, we're going to be tweeting out, we're going to be going live, all that good jazz. But yeah, hopefully he's all right. Hopefully the Dolphins can bounce back. I know they got Teddy Bridgewater out there. He didn't look too bad. He looked a little rusty, but I feel like they'll catch some fire. Israel, he's ready for some Cowboy talk, which we're going to get into right freaking now. Nestor Mena says, hello. Thank you so much for joining the live stream, Nestor. Appreciate you. Mondo says, let's go Niners. Hey, little Niners, man. They're gonna get it tonight. Jimmy G's gonna look, just as good as he looks. But one could hope. So let's get into Cowboy talk, you guys. Cooper Rush, he's done something that no one in the Cowboys organization has ever done, and he's gone 4-0 as a starting QB. Now, Dak Prescott's getting healthy. Okay, it wasn't that 4-week span that Dr. Jones was talking about. Okay, it took a little bit longer, and it's still unclear if Dak Prescott will be healthy enough to start for against the LA Rams in Week 5. Now, if he is healthy enough, should they rush Dak back? Or should they keep Cooper Rush, who is just red hot right now, especially with a team that's getting healthy? We saw Michael Gallup there last week. He even got a touchdown. They're looking good. Defense looking great. What do you do if you're the Cowboys? You bring back your franchise quarterback, or you stay hot with Cooper Rush?
You definitely eventually bring Dak back. At the end of the day, you paid Dak to be your starting quarterback. You don't make the choice of, especially right now after an injury, to start somebody else that has been his backup while he's been out due to injury. You don't do that. That's not good. Managing your team, it's not good. It will not look good if they try to do that. So eventually you do need to bring Dak back. Now, do you rush him back? Absolutely not. You paid him a lot of money. And if he gets hurt again, you're just wasting a lot of money. And it's just not very smart. Israel says, keep Rush for now, Israel. All right. Dak, you paid him a lot of money. All right. I think Rush has been playing amazing. He's played very, very well. He's not turned the ball over once in these 3 games. That's the biggest thing. I mean, you bring in a backup quarterback, you're thinking, he's going to throw some interceptions. There could be bad decisions, stuff like that. So far, nobody has caught an interception off of him. That is very, very impressive, and that's one of the big reasons why they've been able to win these games. You need to take the time so Dak comes 100% back. If you bring him back any sooner, there's just some complications that could happen. If he's 100% and he's like 100% back ready, then yeah, bring him back this week. You'll be fine. Everything's good. But if he isn't, you need to wait. Just play with Rush a little bit longer and then bring Dak back, all right?
Ooh, that's the perfect thing right there. If it's not broken, leave it alone.
Got him on my mind.
Yeah,
what is
man.
My dad or something?
He just might be, But here's what I want to say about Cooper Rush. Reed brings up the topic that he has 0 interceptions, but right now his QBR rating is 95.9. And last year, Dak's was 104.2, but with the whole season. So that's the only reason I think they're going to bring Dak back before he's ready, because of what he did last year. He had about 4,500 yards passing, 37 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. But right now, Cooper Rush only has 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I don't think that Jerry Jones is happy enough with that. Even though they are winning, Jerry Jones wants to have the best of the best out there. He wants to make sure that they're firing on all cylinders, and of course, that's going to be with Dak. We got Pete here. He says, how about them Cowboys? I got to bring Dak back. He'll be fine. People are forgetting how good Dak can be. And that's exactly what I'm saying, Pete. Dak was good last year, and I can't say that he wasn't. But that whole offense and defensive scheme that they had last year is totally different than what they have now. A lot of guys are injured. A lot of guys left. They're on different football teams. So the Cowboys aren't exactly what they were last year. But I think that Dak can be similar to what he was last year. So Pete also says our offense hasn't been great either way. And that's true. But with Dak and his injury, I don't think they get that much better. So, in my opinion, I think I agree with Reed. I think they bring ease Dak back into the lineup, maybe week 7, week 8, because right now they're ahead of the chains. We did the Cowboys prediction, their schedule prediction, and we didn't have them winning this many games at this point in the season. Not even close. We thought that they were going to lose to the Bengals. We thought that they were going to lose to the Giants. We thought maybe they could beat the Commanders, but they freaking killed them. So
yeah. Didn't believe in Rush. Wasn't very high on him. And you said it. He looked good last year, but a lot of people looked good last year. Jimmy G looked good last year. You saw him play out there last week. Did he look good? No. Even though he has a great offense, didn't look that great. Mario Rodriguez, appreciate you joining us, man. Appreciate you joining us live. Says Rush has earned his spot as QB1. If you ask me, I think he's earned a lot. I think he's earned a lot of respect from the teammates as well. They're calling him Cooper Clutch. And if you got teammates calling you Cooper Clutch while your starting quarterback's injured, I get it. You're supporting your backup. He's doing great, but he's doing something that no one has ever done in Cowboys franchise history. Now, this is what I like, okay? I want to go back to all these other comments because I got a comment for each and every one of you guys, starting with this guy right here. He says, keep Rush. That's funny because you told me that if you're a Niners fan, you should keep Jimmy G instead of Trey Lance. Don't fall for the new toy. So I just want to keep that in mind. This guy right here is like he's my father. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I reworded it a little bit, so I like that. But what I like about Cooper Rush compared to Dak Prescott has shown a lot of promise. He's done great. That's why he's got paid a lot, right? But he's like a roller coaster of a quarterback. He does great, bad games, great, bad games, great, bad games. What Cooper Rush does, what he brings to the table is that he is a consistent quarterback. He is consistently the same on that offense. And if you know me about fantasy, consistency is key. You know what you're going to get from Cooper Rush. You know how bad he's going to get right now, right? You know how good he's going to get. He could show flashes, but he is consistently the same. And that looks like it's working out for the Cowboys. They're consistently getting, the yards they need, not too many big splash plays. They're involved with the run game. Now, you saw it last week, both Zeke and Pollard looked equal. Zeke looked like an RB1 last week. What can you do instead of Pollard taking the whole deal for them? Pete says he had them going 17-0 so far. I'm more accurate. Yeah, but you guys are 100% right, though. That is Dak's position. I don't like the whole deal where starting quarterback gets injured. He loses his job because the backup has great flashes. I lived through it way too many times as a Niners fan. You got to keep Dak. And he's going to be the starting quarterback because he is the leader of that team. Now, if you sit him over Cooper Rush, it's going to cause a stir in the locker room. Okay, might not, but I think it will be. And also, just for him to get 100% healthy, you don't want him to get cleared by the doctors. Have him 85, 90, 95% ready to go, and just throw him out there to the wolves, especially next week against Los Angeles. A good team, and I will admit their defense ain't as strong as it was last year, but it's still a good defense. Don't talk to me right now. It says keep Jimmy. Don't talk to me right now. We had this talk earlier today and last week. But no, I like the way the Cowboys are going. And now Jerry Jones has done it again. He is sitting on a lump sum of money. Now you have a guy named Cooper Rush who has proven that he could win games in the NFL. The value on that guy has skyrocketed and is open for trade. It's open for trade. I mean, it's great to have that backup on your team, but we've seen what Ben DiNucci has. Not bad. I think it's very similar to Cooper Rush, what he can do. But if a team loses their franchise quarterback, a starting quarterback, or a team gets desperate, for example, if Jimmy G gets hurt, who else do we have? We want to get Kurt Benkert. Yeah, okay. We also have Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. I get that. But we have a competing team, a stellar defense, and we want to compete. We want to continue to compete. We're not here to develop someone who we don't think is going to be our franchise QB. Why not get someone like Cooper Rush, who's proven they could do it? Do you all agree there?
I do not.
Okay.
The only reason I don't is because I think Jerry Jones does have a little bit of loyalty. He has liked Cooper Rush for the past 5 years, and that's why he's been with the Cowboys for the past 5 years. Ben DiNucci, in my opinion, during last year's little stint when they were on Hard Knocks, I think Ben DiNucci and Cooper Rush were very, very even. Ben DiNucci started to come up and play a little bit better towards the end, but they kept Cooper Rush. And that's because they have loyalty to Cooper Rush. They know what Cooper Rush can do when Dak goes down, or when Tony Romo went down when he played with them. Cooper Rush was always there, and he was always trying to be that reliable guy. And that's why I think that even if they do get some trade offers or something, when someone's quarterback does go down, I think that Jerry Jones will nip it in the butt and say no. Unless you're giving me 2 first-rounders, something like that.
I don't know about 2 first-rounders.
Like he's gonna have to have like a super high asking price, because I think he really likes Cooper Rush.
I honestly think he'll make the trade if they offered him a second rounder.
My
high
geez.
to mid.
Put this comment on. Put it on. Here's what I want to tell you, Israel.
Oh, jeez.
Geno Smith has been doing better than both of your quarterbacks if you combine them. So, stat that, my friend. I'm bringing back.
You can't say stat that on this show, man. We're an anti-stat that show. Israel just plain out says no, sir.
Hey, man, that's a little bit of ignorance right there. Go look at the stats.
Yeah, it really is.
He said, I take Greer over Nucci. Really?
Ooh, really?
Ben DiNucci, dude. Ben DiNucci. I love seeing him in Hard Knocks. I think he's a great guy. But yeah, going into next week, I still don't believe Dak Prescott will be 100% healthy. That's a serious injury. It might not seem big, but having a thumb injury, that is pretty big, especially after having surgery. Get him in shape. Maybe you want to throw him in there for a couple of reps during the game, but ease him into it. Okay, ease him into it, because he is going to have that rust. I'm not going to say that he can't play to his fullest potential. I'm just saying that he's not going to look as good as he did when he started off the season, because he's been out for how long now? 5 weeks now. Yeah, going on 5 weeks.
Something about it.
Oh yeah, that's pretty big. Bring him back for the Eagles game. Now that would be something, huh? But do you want to risk that though? Do you want to risk bringing back Dak Prescott while your team is hot against a hot team in your division who's undefeated, who might just be undefeated when you all play them? That's huge. That's a. I can't wait for that game.
It could give you the boost that you need to beat them, or it could completely cripple you and you don't have a chance.
Yep.
Very true. Very true. But speaking about boost to help win a game, you guys, something happened which I predicted in the preseason. The Pittsburgh Steelers went ahead and sat down Mitch Trubisky and threw in Kenny Pickett, and the crowd stands up. They start cheering. They get into it. The team catches a spark, but they still lose the game. Now, it is looking like they're going to be moving forward with Kenny Pickett into the future for the rest of the season. I agree with there. I didn't think Mitch Trubisky could cut it out. I thought he was going to be set down by week 6. We're heading into week 5, and now it's Kenny Pickett time. Close enough for me. But do you guys agree there? Or do you think Mike Tomlin just gave in to the fans, gave in to the media, wanted to keep people happy, and threw Pickett in?
I would never say that about Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin is a good head coach who makes good decisions based on what he thinks and what he sees. Now, I'm kind of impartial about the decision to sit Mitch Trubisky. I don't think he's played absolutely horrible. He's only thrown two picks on the year, which is not bad for 4 games. But on the other hand, Pickett looked good when he came in. He did throw, 3 picks or 2? It was 3, I think.
3
picks. He threw 2 touchdowns, right? 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns.
And from what I've heard and I saw, that when he came in, there was like this new sense of urgency and energy that came in when Pickett came into the game. So I think a lot of the people in the locker room respect Pickett. So maybe that's why he ultimately decided to bring Pickett in to the game. Maybe there's just a lack of confidence in Mitch Trubisky, but I think it was a little premature. But who knows? I might be wrong. I think you should let these rookie quarterbacks, these young quarterbacks, sit for a little bit, let them learn, get them up to NFL speed, because he did throw 3 picks. He brought him into the game, but also potentially lost him the game. But he's young. He's going to have these growing pains. He's going to make mistakes. If they want to stick it out with him, you're going to have to wait for 2 or 3 years for this guy to be really, really good, in my opinion.
Yeah. Mario Rodriguez says, gotta get Najee more involved. 18 rushes for 74 yards is not it. I'm guessing you have him in fantasy, my friend. Well, you see, they're not using Najee what he's supposed to be used for. Najee is a pass catching back, and he's probably one of the best in the league, if not the best in the league as a pass catching back. And I get it with the transition from Mitch Trubisky, or from really Big Ben to Mitch Trubisky, now to Kenny Pickett, could be a little frustrating. You're still trying to find your groove offensively. And I do think this upcoming week, they're going to have a certain play style for Kenny Pickett to make it simple, QB friendly. And I do feel like Najee Harris will get a lot more involved in the offense, not just for rushing, but for a lot of targets as well. So stay calm, my friend. I think Najee will get his way. Harris has a knee injury. Najee Harris, I guess he's talking about. Najee Harris, yeah, he has a slight injury. He's been dealing with injury all season long, ever since he started. It hasn't really been, I forgot what I called it. What was it called? It was something. We talked about it week 1 for fantasy football.
Something in his heel.
Toe surf or no?
Not toe surf. I forgot what it was, but it's something that's going to last the whole season, and it's just going to bother him from week to week. And it's just how strong can he be to get through it. But I do feel like he will get through the season and get you a lot of points for fantasy football. They just got to get back in their groove. But yeah, using him as a sole bell cow running back, just that ate his play style, and that's not how you're going to win games from the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, if you look at it, they got a pretty decent offense, good offense. That O-line needs to hold up, but Kenny Pickett, like you said, Reed, he did throw 3 picks. 2 of those, you can't really put the blame on him. There were tip balls and wrong hands or whatever. But it was his first game as in the NFL, so I thought he did pretty well. I liked him. Good for him. But we'll keep on moving here. Another rookie quarterback made his debut last week, and that is Bailey Zapp. Is that how you say it?
Zappy.
The guy who looks like Mac Jones, that looks like Tom Brady, whatever you want to call it. They all look the same. Bill Belichick has this weird thing going on. He has like some type of laboratory in the back office, and he's creating guys that I don't know. That's how Jimmy G looks so good. He was created that way. But yeah, he looked a little rough in the beginning, but they played simple ball. They played very simple ball. I believe he even threw a touchdown pass.
He did.
He was 8 for 10, 9 for 10,
10 for 15.
9 for 15. Sorry.
10 for 15.
10 for 15. 10 for 15. And he was able to keep the Patriots against the Packers. Against the Packers. And for me, I think that's pretty big. And kudos to you, because that's pretty impressive for a rookie going against the Green Bay Packers. Johnson says 2 catches for 11 yards. Yeah, yikes. I told you, I warned you guys, don't draft high and don't pay big for Johnson, Claypool, Priamuth. I don't believe in Mitch. And then when they transition to Pickett, it's going to take a while for him to find his receiver that he likes. So that's why I said don't fall for that kind of stuff, man.
As far as Zappy, I watched the whole game because obviously it was against the Packers. He did not play bad, but also do not inflate this guy. He didn't play that good either. The Patriots just had the perfect scheme for him. They were going to run the ball, and he was going to make safe passes. He was not going to take risky passes. He wasn't going to turn it over. They were going to be very, very smart with the ball. And that's exactly what they did. Their run game was very, very good. We couldn't not stop it, even though we knew they were going to be running the ball 90% of the time, basically. But he only threw for 99 yards. Didn't even hit 100 yards. They were terrible on third down conversions. We held them to 3 for 11. And there was just a lot of 3 and outs. But they just had a few drives that sustained. They had that pick six that helped them out and kept them in the game. Stuff like that. So he didn't play bad. I think he does have a future potentially in this league. But don't overinflate him. He's not that great as far as what we saw from
Mac Jones ain't that great.
Game. Come on.
He ain't that great. He got a
Yeah,
high
man.
ankle sprain. He
Hey,
was crying on the sideline, dude.
that's Bill Belichick. At the end of the day, you got system quarterbacks. That's all you need. You follow his system, you can win games.
That's what y'all been saying, man. Guys, put in the group chat, man. Put in the chat below. Snap out of it, guys. Snap out. It's not the Patriots that we're so used to seeing anymore. It sucks to say, you know. Oh my god. I got a message regarding me. It says, "Hey AJ, I swear Jimmy better help me out today in fantasy. I haven't started. Clearly, you haven't been watching our fantasy videos, Israel Torres. We did not mention Jimmy G. Jimmy G played his worst game of his life last year, so I would not advise anyone to pick up Jimmy G right now, especially against the Rams. Huge game, could potentially be a tight game, but not until after this week would I have any upside on Jimmy G. But man, I hope he does good. For my own mental state, I hope he does good. We're gonna get into that game later on. But you got any comments concerning Bailey, Vincent?
I just think he's another serviceable guy. I think he's gonna become possibly a backup for almost all of his career, unless there's a big switch up in his learning curve with the Patriots. But he didn't really impress me that much. He was a serviceable guy. I did not expect the Patriots to make it a game against the Packers, as I said last week in our prediction. But I mean, the NFL impresses everyone every week, so good for them. But I don't think going forward it's going to be easy sledding for them.
So he did impress you. I think one guy did impress you last week. A guy named Geno Smith, a guy that everyone wrote off, but he ate right back. That guy. What impressed you about Geno last week? Because honestly, I did not expect a high scoring game like that. You called it, my man. You called it.
I called it, bro. I just didn't expect the defenses to show up. So I will say that he is doing very, very good so far. 300 yards in the past 2 games with 2 touchdowns apiece. And he actually had 1 rushing touchdown this week, which is very impressive. He had some wheels on him against the Detroit Lions. But the one thing that impressed me the most was his connection with DK Metcalf. I remember in our group chat, I had seen that the Lions were doing very, very well with their cornerback position and holding some of the number 1 wide receivers to very little receiving yards. And I was like, oh, make sure you sit DK. But then there was something that looked back in my mind. And I was like, no. I was like, this is going to be a high-scoring game. I think DK is going to get some good points. So that's what I'm most surprised about is Geno Smith and DK really kicking it off this year. Last year when Russell Wilson was hurt and Geno was in, he only had really 1 play. There was a big play capability with DK, and it was on that cornerback that slipped. So in my opinion, I did not think that him and DK were going to mesh very well. I thought him and Tyler Lockett were going to do very well. But the thing that helped him the most was the run game. Rashad Penny went off. So in my opinion, I don't think Geno Smith is going to be playing this way a lot. But against defenses like the Lions, against the Falcons, he will play very serviceable.
I like it, man. Good for you. Good for Seattle. I mean,
2-2, baby. Hey, the Niners better win today, AJ, because y'all gonna be tight again with us.
Just the thought of that is just disgusting for me. It's just, so, especially how good our defense is this year. I mean, it's disappointing. We're going to see it tonight, and I guess this is a good time to talk about the game tonight. Are we going to have good Jimmy or are we going to have bad Jimmy? I guess that's the question of the day, right? I'm not looking forward to it. You got something to say, Reed?
I think bad Jimmy.
You think we're going to have bad Jimmy?
I think bad Jimmy. I think Trent Williams being out for this game is really going to hurt you. You brought up during Niner Talk that your backup left tackle played really well against Aaron Donald, but it's hard for any guard or left tackle or wherever to play good against Aaron Donald twice. As much as I don't like Aaron Donald as a person, he's a great football player, and I think he's going to have a really good game.
You know what? And Vince could attest to this. And I'm probably going to jinx myself, and I really hope I don't. But I haven't jinxed myself in the past 3 years. The Niners O-line played really good against Donald. And Donald, he will make plays, but he's not as effective against the 49ers for some reason, And the guy who I was talking about Niner Talk was Colton McKivitz. So he was a starting left tackle for us last year to get into the playoffs against the Rams. And Aaron Donald was lined up against them all day long just because, it was his first game in and he wanted to prove a point, whatever. We held up our own. I think that's going to be the biggest the biggest concern for the 49ers tonight is their O-line and how Jimmy G is going to play. Jimmy G had his worst game of his career last week. I don't think he could get any worse than that. So, like that movie, I forgot what movie it is. I mean, if you're a rock bottom, there's only one way to go, right? That's up, and I hope that's the case this week or tonight. But I want to hear in the chat as well. Let me know, who do you think is going to win tonight? Are we going to have the 49ers win tonight, or are we having the pretender Rams winning? And I am going to say pretender Rams because you guys know my pick. I guess I'll start off because call it bias, call it what you want, but I got the 49ers winning. I do think there's a chance the 49ers are actually favorited this game for whatever reason. They are the favorites to win this game. If we could just produce offensively, I think our defense will hold their own, and we could have a chance to come out of this game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means on either side. I think it's going to be a close game. I got the Niners winning 21-17.
Okay. I got the Rams winning 21-10.
Jeez.
Dang, that's wild.
Wow.
Here's my thing. I'll extend mine a little bit just because Reed shout out his disbelief with the 49ers and their capability to score.
I think they're great, but I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think the Rams defense is playing up to par like they usually are. They lost Von Miller, so that was a big thing for them. They got Bobby Wagner, but Bobby Wagner's no Von Miller right now. So I want to go over to the offensive side for the Rams. They don't have Van Jefferson anymore. He's on injured reserve. They have a guy named Ben Skowronek as their number 3 wide receiver. Now, I've never heard of this guy. I haven't seen him in anything, so I don't know how good he is. So it's going to be up to Cooper Kupp and Allen Robinson and that run game with Cam Akers and Darrell Henderson. So in my opinion, it's going to be a lot closer than what we predicted when we predicted it on Saturday, just because of that fact. Van Jefferson is a big piece for them. He's their big guy, their big play guy. So in my opinion, I think that Matthew Stafford is going to have a little bit of trouble, especially with the way that the 49ers corners have been playing and the way that that defensive line is disrupting the quarterback position. So I think it's going to be a lot closer. I think it's going to come down to less than 2 points. I'm going 24-22, but it's going to be the Rams.
Oh, man. It's all right. It's right. I'm getting ready, okay? That's why we're trying to end this podcast a little bit earlier tonight, because I need to get these vocal cords ready. I'm going to be yelling all night long. I hope we have a decent game. Hopefully we establish the run hard. We set the lines, but I guess we'll see. I'm excited to see. I think we might put up a poll real quick on Twitter, see what our thoughts are about the 49ers and the Rams game or whatnot. I know there's a lot of memes going on about Jimmy G and what he's going to do. A lot of people are, there's a lot of questions came out about the 49ers coming into this season, and a lot of those questions are going to remain unanswered because of injuries. But I mean, we'll see what happens. You guys have anything else to say before we log out?
Just hope it's a good game tonight, man, because I'm in need of another good game.
Jeez, I hope so too, man. For my own sake, to stay sane. I hope it's good. If not, then people are just gonna get bad fantasy advice, just because I'm just gonna be mad all the time. Nestor, I appreciate you so much, dude. He says he has the 49ers.
Ooh,
that guy's a G
simp.
right there, man.
Simp.
He's not a simp. He's a friend. Okay. Hey, I got the Steelers next week, dude. All right, I got the Steelers next week. Just for
good
you.
luck against the Bills. I'm holding you to that.
Hey, you're a good friend, right, AJ?
A great friend. But if you want to see our full schedule prediction, check us out on Thursday. We're gonna do schedule predictions. We do that every week, and this week, right now, I am 12-3. Let's see how the Niners do tonight. Will I be 12-4? Will I be 13-3? We will see. Pete says he has a 49ers 17-14. There you go, Pete. I love you, dude. Oh, I got a sticker for you next time I go down the valley. An SP sticker. But yeah, I got the Cowboys next week too, man. Yeah, for sure. I got your back. All right, guys. But thank you all so much for joining us live. If you haven't yet, go find us on TikTok on NSP Football Talk and hit that subscribe button here on YouTube. If you're on Facebook, transition over to YouTube, hit that subscribe button. It helps out a lot. This is our information down here below. If you have any questions for us, find us on Facebook. Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify. We're all over the place. DM me. Here's my phone number. Just kidding. That's not my number. That's the wrong number. And until next time, you guys keep on grinding.